All right.
Thank you, Zoom. Cool. I'm gonna get the PowerPoint started because I'm a PowerPoint guy, and then I'll do the whole introduction thing so it's not so awkward. Okay. Everyone see Marketing for Superstars? Can I get some thumbs up?
Yep.
Sweet,
I
sweet.
got it.
So first off, thank you guys for taking the time tonight. I really appreciate it. Hey, baby, how you doing? I've got a 4 and a 6-year-old, so I love kids. Good people here. So, let me see if I can get that going. Okay, so my name is Matt Seltzer. I live in Las Vegas. I have known Joe Vernola, because I know we got 2 Joes on here for, damn, like 25 years, because dinosaurs roamed back then. It was cool.
Yeah.
But we've known each other a long time. And one thing that we talk about a lot is whenever we're in town, or he's in town and we just still hang out, is marketing. And that's because I work in marketing and I'm a huge friggin' nerd when it comes to marketing and totally love my career. And I say this because I don't know a ton about wrestling. And I stress that. I know a little bit, but the big thing that I know more than anything in this world is marketing. I've had a chance to teach at colleges. I've had a chance to be a speaker at other colleges, conferences. I've written books. This is my world. Totally dig it. And every time we talk about your industry, we talk about marketing and all the cool stuff that we could theoretically be doing, which led us to here why we wanted to have a conversation. Because just talking to Joe, I think there's a lot of what I call low-hanging fruit, meaning very easy things that we could just be accomplishing here. That for everything I know about what you do will take you to the next level in achieving your goals. Totally going to stress here, I am selling nothing. I literally just love talking about marketing. So before with that kind of in mind, let me ask you guys, and feel free to chime in if anyone's on microphone. What is the most effective marketing tactic? And this is not my opinion. This is like proven through statistics.
Word of mouth.
Oh, damn! On the first try. No, see, this is a cool group, but nailed it. I heard word of mouth, and that is the right answer. So, fun fact: when I was early in my career, I used to do a ton of market research for events here in Las Vegas. And we'd always ask people, how'd you hear about this event? What was the marketing thing that brought you here? And 50 to 70% of every single event was word of mouth. A friend told them about it. And think about your own life right now. Maybe you saw an ad somewhere, maybe you read something well, no one reads newspapers anymore, but you read it on Facebook or something, but your buddy says, hey, let's go to this. And even if you did read something online, you're thinking, no, I came to this because someone invited me, word of mouth. I heard it was awesome. I'm going to go. Since children, we just gravitate toward this tribe thinking, and I'll bring that up later a few times, but we listen to people. We like talking to people and sharing our opinions and getting great ideas from friends. And so the whole point there is that's a marketing vehicle, and literally statistically it is the most effective thing that we could be doing. Here's an example. Which of these 2 marketing methods is going to sell more cheeseburgers? A, I've got a billboard on the freeway, it says try our cheeseburger. And B, is my best friend says, dude, I tried this awesome burger over the weekend, you've got to check it out. What do you guys think? B. Exactly. We know this. We know that if you want people to do something, getting their best friend to tell them to do it is the best way to possibly do it. So hold on to that. We're going to come back to that. What is the second most effective marketing tactic? And again, this is not my opinion. This is proven through statistics.
Flash.
Flash? I like Flash. Flash is part of it. You know what? Think about Flash, and I'm going to call it experience. You know what? We remember things. We remember our experiences. Let's go back to our cheeseburger example. Who's it? Here, I'll give you a great example. Let's go back to our cheeseburger example here. Situation A, you go get your cheeseburger and it kicks ass. It is the best cheeseburger ever. And not only that, but everyone was super nice to you when you came in. Option B here, you go got your cheeseburger and they fucked it up. Sorry, baby, they screwed it up. I know there's baby here. You know what, you said extra bacon and they actually put extra lettuce. They forgot the bacon. And when then you asked them to fix it, they said, well, you're gonna have to buy a new burger. Which of those 2 experiences are you going back to? I mean, you guys know the answer exactly. Hey, I love quotes. I love when great people with great thoughts say something great. And Maya Angelou said, people forget what you said, people will forget what you did, but people will never forget how you made them feel. That experience of going to an event or going to buy something or literally anything in the world of marketing. So you can hear it. I geek out over this stuff. That experience is what makes people come back. And going back to our cheeseburger example, it's way easier to sell someone a cheeseburger if they've already bought from you before. It's the same thing here. It's way easier to get people to come to your events, to come be your fan if they've already seen you. So why do I bring this up? The two most effective marketing tactics, word of mouth and experience. It's because this is awesome news for wrestling. This is the coolest news that you could hear for your industry because the two most effective marketing tactics work for you. All right, picture this. You got someone. Never, ever been to a wrestling event in his life, right? We add in some wrestling. He goes to an event. What is he? He's excited. He had a great time. He had a good experience. Now, here's what we want to have happen from here. We want him to go tell two friends, bring them to a wrestling event. And now we got three people who are super excited. And I don't know if I mentioned this part of the beginning. I'm also a math nerd. So anytime we can turn something into a math equation, man, we're having a cool night. So, sorry, I had to admit someone. Roger's going to be pissed. He's coming in late. Sorry, Roger. So, with that in mind, this is perfect marketing. This is what we want to have happen. Here's the problem. There, see, it actually says it. Here's the problem. I don't know about you guys. I am this person, but I get distracted super easily. Picture this. You go to a kick-ass event on Saturday. You had a great time. Sunday morning, you wake up, you are pumped. You're so excited, you go look up YouTube videos all day of other wrestling events. Monday, you go to work, you tell a few friends about it, you're still kind of excited. Tuesday, not so much. By Wednesday, that cool experience is out of your mind. And what happens, again, we get distracted. We see squirrels everywhere in life. And when we get distracted, when the guy here, our excited guy, he fulfilled his marketing, gets distracted, the rest of that equation is gone. That the whole plan of action that we had to get more fans, it's out of the question. So here's the solution. We have to remind them. We have to make sure that squirrel doesn't happen. And what I want to talk to you guys about is social media. Now, I'm a big marketing guy. I want to stress social media is not the end all be all. But what I'm going to tell you guys why social media is going to be so important to you is because it's that low-hanging fruit I mentioned earlier. It's easy. And I know we're going to talk about complications, but I promise it's easy. And more importantly, it's free. I mean, that's the big part. You're not putting money into this. There's a lot of marketing that you can do that puts a lot of money. This is relatively cheap. But, okay, I have a lot of people ask me this. I have a lot of clients I counsel on saying, hey, you got to start being on social media. Might be a little different than what we're talking about here, but this comes up a lot. And I always have this question. So wait, I have to be on social media? I mean, no one really wants to do this. But yes, you really genuinely have to be on social media. And again, the reason for this, in the simplest of terms, is because here's that squirrel. And what we want to do is bombard our audience with all the social media we can, all the reminders we can to get the rest of that math equation to happen. That's all we're trying to do here.
Okay.
So let's talk about tools. Because again, social media is a beast. I'm going to talk about that there. Real quick, I'm going to talk about 6 tools. This is not everything. I'm not saying you have to do all of these. I am saying you have to do some, and I'm saying you have to pay attention because some are going to work better than others. But with that in mind, let's kind of talk about a few of them. So TikTok. I assume people have heard of TikTok. For those who don't know TikTok, it's dumb short videos. And I don't mean dumb as a negative. I like dumb stuff. Dumb is how I relax. Dumb is how let my brain shut down. We all like dumb. And a lot of people like to scroll through TikTok and see kind of ridiculous videos. That's not everything on TikTok, but that's a huge part of it. But why do I like TikTok? First off, there's hashtags. For those who don't know what a hashtag is, you can write whatever you want on your post on any social media platform, and then you add hashtag, which when we were growing up, it was called a number sign. And then you write whatever you want. Hashtag wrestling, hashtag Colorado wrestling, hashtag United States wrestling, whatever you want, and there isn't really a limit. That's how you join a conversation that's already happening. Another thing is TikTok is very easy to share. which again, looking back at our math equation, that's what we want. We want people to be able to share. We also want them to be able to subscribe, which is what TikTok does. Subscribe is exactly what it sounds like. And again, this might sound rudimentary to a lot of you guys, but I want to go through the pieces because what we want people to do is subscribe. We want them to follow you, to pay attention to you. And TikTok is easy to download. And this is the reason right here why I put TikTok first. I'll talk about this in a little more later too, but TikTok is like my favorite video editor, and you can download your videos. So I am not a video editor. I can edit a great video in under a minute on TikTok, download it. Now I've got it sized and ready to go for Instagram, YouTube, Facebook, whatever I want. You don't even have to use TikTok as a TikToker to take advantage of TikTok. But videos get huge. And I'm sure everyone of you guys knows that. I mean, that's really how you sell a big part of your shtick, is communicating through video. And TikTok is just simply making that easy regardless of what you want to do. I say regardless because you could be making all your videos for Instagram. And Instagram, just for those who don't know, is pictures and less dumb videos. I say less dumb because it's not so much about gimmick and hilarity or emotion. Instagram is really about sharing your life. And a great way to think about it is, let's say you do a cool stunt in the ring, you film it, and that goes on TikTok. You getting up afterwards and cracking your back because damn, that friggin' sucked. That kind of thing, that's the Instagram video. That's the real life you. And that's kind of the difference between the two. But again, you got your hashtags. So again, you can join conversation. You got audiences, meaning a lot of people are on Instagram every single day. So I guarantee the people you want to talk to are there. What you put out there lives forever on your Instagram, meaning you can make a video today and in a year tell people, hey, be sure to check out my Instagram, and you're going to get just as much value out of that video. And then engagement. Engagement's cool because people can comment and say, man, you are the worst wrestler ever. And you can call them out right there and say, yeah, you don't even know what you're talking about. And now you're creating engagement. And don't get me wrong, that's one of many different ways to have a conversation. And it fits into kind of the emotional spectrum that some of you may be going for in your characters. But that's the point. You can engage now. You can actually relate to people and they can talk to you. YouTube. So I stress this. YouTube is video Google. YouTube is the second largest search engine on the planet. For reference, whenever I have a problem in business, I Google it. Usually that means like I'm trying to figure out something in Excel. I have a guy who works for me, he's 22, and whenever I ask him to figure out a problem, he YouTubes it. And for him, that's his solution. He wants to see a video of someone solving the problem, which is great. That's how he views the world. And it's the same thing here. When people want to learn things or find things, most people are going to YouTube if they're not going to Google. Cool thing about YouTube is it offers video hosting. And really, that's what a lot of people are using it for. Frankly, that's what I'm using it for. You make a video on TikTok, like I just said, you download it. Well, now you got to get it on the internet so you can share it. You want to, however you want to share it. That's what YouTube is for. People can also find it on YouTube. People can also, and this is my favorite part, find it on Google. For those who don't know, Google owns YouTube. So Google literally owns the two largest search engines on the planet. And that means when you search something and Google wants to show you a video, they're showing you YouTube videos. And you guys have already seen this, I'm sure. When you search something, you go, damn, why does YouTube videos pop up? It's because they own them. So take advantage of that. And again, I'll mention, just like I mentioned with Instagram, it's there forever. So again, you make a video today, and in 2 years, you can still go send it and share it. And we'll talk about where you're going to share it later, but it's there forever. Host it online, costs you nothing. Facebook. For those who don't use Facebook, Facebook is the newspaper about people you know. That's literally all it is. It is video and pictures and words. And the and words is kind of cool because you can write stuff that has no video and no pictures. And it's not always the most engaging, but for anyone who just wants to write something, go on a ramble, go on a rant, write something awesome about your next event, this is where you're going to do it. Again, you got that engagement factor. People can talk to you. You can talk back to them. And the big thing I want to stress here, and this is where Facebook is interesting, especially now, and I say now in kind of this, we've really adopted this virtual era. Facebook wants you to make a fan page. Don't make a you page. And if that's your current page, make that just your page. Add real people, let them engage you, get real people excited about getting to know you, because that's Facebook's real purpose. It's the newspaper about you. So let people get genuinely excited about that. Again, I'm going to talk about why that is when we get more into tribes. I got a cool presentation for you guys, but two more just super fast tools I want to talk to you about is email. Email is you talking to people. Now, I've got 4 real quick, totally free tools right here. MailChimp, ConvertKit, Constant Contact, Gmail. I mean, you could literally ask every single person who comes to your events. You could have a big giant sign that says, sign up for my email list. And now you get to send them an email a week before every one of your events, the day before your event, 2 weeks before your event, where you send that YouTube video, even if it's from a year ago, and say, hey, did you see my highlight reel from 2019? This is what that forever content is doing. It allows you to stay in touch with the audience and invite them with action. Invite them with action is big, because even on social platforms, no other thing can really let you do something like, hey, buy tickets to our next event. You give them a damn link. I mean, that's that easy, and that's what's cool about it. The only problem with email is that it's 2021. So let me talk to you about texting. There are very simple tools that are not free, and I'll stress this, that sucks. But they work just like what we were talking about with email. Simple texting. You can send 1,000 texts a month for like $75 on a mass subscription list. You could say subscribe to 620-620 by texting exactly what you're thinking, and now you can text your audience. And that's actually how I think everyone here is probably communicating. Show a thumbs on the Zoom. Does anyone here text in their normal day? I got a couple. Okay. We have that. This is within the marketing technology. And don't get me wrong, there's a little bit of investment there. But you could tell your audience, hey, I will send you texts. They can include the videos we talked about. They can include links. They can include an invite to tomorrow's event. They can include an invite to tomorrow's event with a 5% coupon code because they're a fan of you. And imagine how powerful that is when that guy who had a great time at your last event gets a text from you saying, hey man, I would love your support tomorrow night. Let me give you 10% off, and I would love to see it in my colors in your shirt. That dude's coming. And don't get me wrong, we're talking numbers here. If you invite 10 people, 3 of them are coming. But 3 of them are coming. 3 of them that wouldn't have come if we hadn't just taken the step of sending a text. And we already know this. We're texting our friends. We're texting our buddies, our mom, our dad to come. These people want to be your friends, or at least that's the way we need to be thinking of them. This is how we're building an audience, not just for the show, but for you. Okay, we covered a crap load of tools there. What the heck do we do now? 2 things. You got to go make content and go build an audience. So I got this kind of broken into 2 sections because I'm sure we have no clue what I'm talking about by those things. First off, what is content? Because that's a buzzword that everyone talks about. You got to make content. Content is just genuinely what people want to see. That's all it is. For the most part, we're talking about video, pictures too. But let me ask you guys, and take a real moment to think about it, just in your head right now. But I'm not. What do you think your people want to see? And while you kind of think about that, let me ask: has anyone ever seen a video like this, or
Yeah.
the milk crate challenge? Right, it's everywhere. I've heard about it all the time. I live in fear of the milk crates right now. Does anybody remember this one? Planking? It was everywhere. People fell off buildings. What about this one? Anybody ever seen a dude jump out of a plane with a giant parachute that says Red Bull?
Probably once or twice.
Probably once or twice. I mean, these aren't things that we've missed. These are real things, and it's because somehow this is what people want to see. It's kind of outrageous, outlandish, entertaining content. It's things that you think would be entertaining to people. And sometimes it's following a trend, and sometimes it's creating your own. The trick, because there's a lot of ideas there, is it has to be on brand. And this is going to kind of answer the question of, what do I mean by make content? What you do has to make sense for you. Dudes jumping out of a plane with a big parachute that says Red Bull makes a lot of sense, especially when they land at the ground, they crack open a Red Bull, drink it, look right at the can and say, or this camera, and say, Red Bull gives me wings. That's their brand. That's their shtick. They want people to go, okay, that dude jumped out of a plane because of Red Bull. I can go to work today. I mean, that's really the thing they want people to think. So I'm going to ask, what do you want people to think about you? And while you think about that, let me tell you, have you guys ever heard of this guy? Anybody know who this guy is?
Yeah.
Stephen Colbert, right? So Stephen Colbert had a show on Comedy Central. I wish I had the numbers in front of me, for nearly 10 years, I believe. It went off the air in 2017. Yeah, I really wish I had the numbers. It went off the air in 2017. And for those who never saw the show, Stephen Colbert, who's a very intelligent man, would kind of act aloof about politics and act very like he didn't know what he was talking about. But he would always do it in a way that would thus make the other side's point make sense. So 2017 comes, he retires, or he closes the show, and he says, "I'm retiring the character." And that's the interesting thing. If you listen to Stephen Colbert talk now, or even if you heard him talk then off the show, he sounded just like a normal human being, an intelligent human being. But when you listen to the Colbert Report, Stephen Colbert, it was clearly a different person. And again, he retired the character. All of that was a character. Granted, the character's name happened to be named Stephen Colbert. It had the same name as him, but what he'd literally done is created this fictitious concept, this character that was him. Whenever the camera was on, whenever someone was looking, whenever he wanted to portray that brand, he was that character. So what I want to say that is, be your character. You know, every one of you guys here, we've all kind of talked about this, and I even heard you mention in the very beginning, even you want to copyright some of this. Be your character, and that means be your character in everything we just talked about in creating video. You know, I don't know if you're the funny guy or the angry guy or the strong woman, or, you know, there's a million different things that you could be, but you know what you want to be. So let me ask, what is the funny guy posting on social media? It's funny stuff, or it's at least something that's in character of the funny guy. What is the angry guy doing? He's probably shouting at the camera, or he's shouting at someone else. That's part of the brand. Does anyone here lift? I assume someone here, does anyone here deadlift?
Yes.
Yep.
I was gonna say Barton's got them cheeks, so I'm assuming he does.
Sure. You ever gone for a PR? I know you're not there. I'm sorry, Joe. You're working out. I'm breaking up the workout. You know, it'd be damn good video footage is you going for that PR on TikTok, because it sounds like it's part of the brand. It's part of who you're portraying. And again, just like Stephen Colbert, that might actually be you. It might also be who you want to be in this character. Regardless, it doesn't matter. The character is who you are in social media. I'm going to talk about why that is in a sec. But again, that answers the question, well, what is the content? Should I be doing the milk crate challenge? The funny guy might want to do it. The funny guy might want to do it juggling. The angry guy might want to tell everyone they're idiots for doing it. You have an answer to that question. You know how to make the content. You just got to figure out, what is your character think? What is the brand do with that? But okay, I guarantee I'm not the first person to tell you guys you need to be on TikTok. So let's talk about what's probably holding you guys back. And I want to stress here, this is not just to your industry. This is something that I talk about with everyone I've ever told to start doing social media. First off is fear. There is a buttload of social media out there. There's a buttload of ways to do it. And I'm sure everyone's seen crappy content, and you're probably worried that your content is going to suck, which is terrifying. I get that. I have fantastic news for you, though. This is the best thing you're going to want to hear. It will. In fact, I guarantee your content is going to suck. And that's okay. In fact, that's a big thing. Sucking at something is the very first step toward being awesome at something. That's true of anything in this world. I devote myself to that kind of thinking. But look at any popular YouTube star right now and go look at their first videos. They suck. They always suck. The funny thing is, no one goes back and looks at those. Everyone's afraid that because their first video sucks, no one's going to watch them. No, just go make another one, and just go make another one. And your next one will suck less until eventually you're making awesome stuff. And then again, I want to stress, people are only watching that. They're not going back. And even if they do go back, maybe they'll laugh at it and say how great you've gotten. Or they'll give you advice to get better. And that's great news. But sucking at something is not bad. Like I said, it's the very first step towards getting awesome at it. Another thing that might be holding you back is you're worried you don't have the right equipment. And I've heard this a lot of times. And we're talking about producing video here and with audio. I mean, dude, that's intimidating. We've all seen film stars and TV stars, and I get it. There's a lot of equipment. So I want to let you guys in on a marketing secret. This is one of my favorite secrets. And don't tell anyone this, because it's hush. But there's actually techniques to get super cheap video equipment with high tech audio. I mean, we're talking good resolution. And I'm honestly going to venture it's probably not going to cost you guys anything. It's this thing right here. Now, if you have a phone, you can start doing social media. You can start making great videos. And I know what you're thinking. No, I need a great camera and a great audio. Well, first off, we are at a point with technology where this phone right here is better than anything we had 20 years ago. Plain and simple. You're already on a different level than the early 2000s. So we're doing good there. But let me put it a different way. I know a lot of people who say, I can't start doing social media. I got to go spend $500 on a new camera and a new microphone. And let's turn that around. Go make a video on your phone. Make another video on your phone. Start getting some followers. In a month, watch your videos and say, man, the audio sucks on this. Cool. Now go get a microphone. Now you've justified it in your head. Or better yet, you've decided a microphone's the thing I need because the audio sucks. That's a totally different thing than I need to get a microphone before I can start making videos. So think of this as just start. Just kind of like the thing I said a second ago, but just start. Use the technology you have. Do not invest a lot of money in this until you want to make a piece of it better. And then slowly but surely, sure, in a year, maybe you have a whole film studio. And that's because you were like, yeah, well, we were getting good feedback and I want to make the video better. That's a great problem to have. And that's the right way to think about it. But the other thing I want to stress, and I talked about it earlier, is don't forget about TikTok. TikTok, I already stressed this, is the coolest video editor you can imagine. The whole thing takes place on your phone and it's friggin' easy. Again, one of the most expensive things I've heard people say they got to spend money on is video editing. No, you don't. At least not to start, not in the first few months. You got that taken care of. You can do it on your phone. Again, you hit a wall because you're making such cool videos and now you want to get special words flying by. Cool. Then get the software, but you don't need it to start.
I have gone with I don't know how to edit videos.
Seriously, give TikTok a try. I can also kind of give you some thoughts on it. Genuinely, and I mean this with full sincerity, when I do have to edit videos right now, I use PowerPoint. I mean, I say this because the tools are out there. But again, there's a lot of ways. But TikTok, you could just set your videos to only take 10-second videos and you only post the ones that work. So now you don't even have to worry about editing. Just only post 10-second videos and make that your shtick. There's nothing wrong with that.
Okay, I'm already on TikTok.
See, I mean, this works. And again, TikTok is timed perfectly with 10-second videos to upload to Facebook stories. And you kind of get where I'm going. Like none of this, you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Just post it on 2 places. But yeah, I mean, I get it. That's that right there. I mean, you're like, I can't edit. That shouldn't hold you back. I get that you can't edit. I respect that completely. Cool. Let's work around that and we'll figure that piece out later. Another thing though, because I've seen this hold people back. You think you're not big enough for social media. And I've heard this a lot. And maybe not even social media. I'll kind of talk about that, the bigger picture. But look at that. I mean, these right here, it's got some of the biggest names in the industry, and these guys are on the same platforms doing the exact same things I'm talking about right here. And there is a chance you're thinking, I'm not there yet. I can't be doing that yet. So to kind of answer that, I want to tell you guys a story about a show called Gossip Girl. Now, Joe, I know I mentioned this story to you yesterday, so no spoilers. And for anyone who does know, upcoming spoiler alert. I'm going to completely ruin a show for you. So if you have plans to watch Gossip Girl, do not listen to this part. Gossip Girl is a show that my wife watched. I watched it with her. It was on a few years ago. It had Blake Lively. Genuinely, I couldn't tell you much more about the dates than that. But what I do remember is something really, really cool from the story. So the whole point of the story is there's a bunch of rich, popular kids who go to a great school in New York. And one day, someone named Gossip Girl starts texting everyone. Not just them, but everyone in the entire school. But they're texting about their social life. And all of a sudden, they're more popular than ever. But of course, there's drama because everyone's texting about who's dating who. There's a whole social life to it. I mean, it's exactly what you imagine. Towards the end of the first season, beginning of the second season, there's a nerdy kid at the school, and Gossip Girl starts texting about him. And suddenly, through obvious circumstance, and you kind of get where the story's going, the guy gets more involved in the story, and then he gets to date one of the girls. I think he dates 2 of the girls, and he becomes integral to the whole story. And the show went on for 6 years. The whole point was no one ever knew who this Gossip Girl character was. And in the very last episode, told you there were spoilers coming, you find out that the nerdy kid was Gossip Girl. And they said, well, why? Why did you do this? And he says, well, I was the nerdy kid. You guys were the popular kids. I wanted to be the popular kid, and I even wanted to date the popular kid, and you guys won't even pay attention to me because I wasn't in the story. So I wrote myself into the story. And that's kind of the big thing I want to stress there. You have to write yourself into the story. I'm a business consultant. I do marketing consulting. That's what I do professionally. I work for myself. When I started my business, I knew what I wanted to do to get business was I wanted to be on podcasts where business professionals listen to podcasts. And I wanted to write books and I wanted to do all this stuff. But what I told everyone is, well, I haven't done enough to warrant that yet. I'm not big enough to do those things. And then I happened to have just lucked into a podcast interview and I did it. And I felt like a total fraud, but I said what I thought was real and I got some business out of it. And then I started doing more podcasts. And then I actually wrote a book. And what I've come to realize is that you don't become famous because you got big. You become big because you chose to be famous. And famous may not be the right word for this right here, but again, I want to go back. You have to be able to write yourself into the story. And that's the cool part. That's the thing we're talking about here right now, is that you know what you want to be, who your character is in 10 years, 20 years. That's who you are now. And the cool thing about everything that we're talking about is nothing is stopping you from being that right now. You can write yourself into the story. You absolutely can. And that's everything we're talking about here. And the final thing that always holds people back, I've heard this a million times, is that you don't have time. Because I'm talking about shooting video here and you guys are busy. I'm sure you all work on top of this. You work out. Some of you work out during Zoom meetings. I mean, you guys are juggling a few balls here. What I'm going to tell you is this is part of the job. I could go on and on about why that is, but the simple part of it is marketing is always part of the job. Businesses cannot exist if they're not marketing. You might be the best wrestler in the world, the strongest wrestler, the most technical, but if people don't see that, it's not worth it. And I mean, in the simple sense that it's not providing you any value in how you build what I'm going to call your business. And it is your business. So when I say it's part of the job, how do you do this? First off, set up reminders. And I literally mean set up reminders. I have one client, his job is to post 5 times a week on LinkedIn. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, his phone reminds him at 10 a.m. to post on LinkedIn. And as cheesy as that sounds, he posts on LinkedIn. And sure, maybe it takes him 20 minutes to get to it. It takes 15 minutes. But again, I'm going to stress it's part of the job. He doesn't have to worry about it. His phone takes care of the reminders. Another thing, shoot during workouts, film during workouts. And what I really mean that is, don't just make time to do this during the things that you're doing. The other cool thing
I got a question about that.
Yeah.
So like, I feel like a douchebag in a gym where I'm trying to like shoot during workouts.
Yeah.
So I don't do it a lot. It's just, people are trying to weigh on the machine and then like, it kind of, it's a subconscious thing too.
It's vulnerable, and I'll be completely. It sounds pretentious because I'm not that guy. I was telling Joe this yesterday, and I mean this wholeheartedly. So my name's Matt, and I own a company called S2 Research. I say this because I'm a shy dude. I actually am. I'm kind of quiet. I'm an introvert. But when I'm on Zoom or I'm on social media, I'm Matt from S2 Research. And I even say like, hey, it's Matt from S2 Research. I mean, we've built this character. It's a light switch. I feel like a total douche. What I've learned is I apparently don't come across that way. And you guys can tell me afterwards if I'm right or wrong on that. But it's not as bad as you think is the reason I say that. The other thing is you'll find your rhythm. If you do feel kind of, every word you said, embarrassed, vulnerable, I said that one, but I mean, get into a rhythm of what you don't feel bad about and really kind of work on just those kind of videos. When I say shoot during a workout, go back to the character. Are you the strongest guy? Your workout video should be the PR. Are you the funny guy? You should be the guy who's screwing with people while they're going for their PR. I mean, do what feels natural to you. And I mean that not in that old dating advice, just be yourself, but I genuinely mean like, it's going to come across more authentic when you do something that you don't feel like a douchebag doing. But really experiment and play with that. And I say experiment right over here because it's not all going to work right away. And some stuff you're not going to love. And give it 2 months, you'll start pumping out stuff that you dig. And that's the point. Just keep going and keep going. The other thing I will tell you though about shooting during workouts is going to go to my next thing. You got to build an audience. And I know I'm rambling here, guys, so we're heading towards the end. I appreciate you bearing with me. But you got to build an
You
audience.
might be able to jump in real quick before you move on to the next point, Matt.
Yeah.
So with the writing yourself into the story and the posting workout videos, we all know Hammerstone here, right? Or at least know the name Alex Hammerstone, MLW open weight champ right now. I figured Joe and Adrian and Eric knew him at the very least. Like, let me tell you something. Alex was the biggest, and Matt knows I mean this with all due respect because I'm one of them. Alex was the biggest fucking band geek ever. He was a drummer, so like he was a coolish band geek, but he was a band geek. But he started working out. He did a couple other things that get big that we're not going to talk about. But once he started doing that, he turned himself, much like the Gossip Girl example, from that band geek, from that shy guy into the giant fucking douchebag that we all know him as today.
Giant fucking douchebag.
Yeah, he did. Yeah.
Giant fucking douchebag.
But that was literally because that was how he started writing himself. That was how he started carrying himself. So I just wanted to give a real world example in the industry on our level to back up what Matt was saying. I'm sorry to cut you off there.
No, because that's a solid story. And that's who he wants to be. And I don't think, it's because it works. I mean, he can pull it off. It's authentic. I don't think anyone thinks he's pretending. That sounds like he's really him. And frankly, it may or may not be, but that's the point, is the character. That's really the character. And I'll go back to Stephen Colbert. Who knows if that's really him or not? But that really is the character. And you buy into that. But I will tell you, and I'm going to jump ahead real quick because I want to get to this. Do I have it? No, I don't have it. The other reason I like workout videos is because you guys are together. I mean, I assume anyone here work out with someone else? What you got to do to get a social media audience is ask. That's the simplest way. And I mean, picture you finish a great match in front of millions of people. You should hold up your sign that says "Follow me on Twitter." Maybe not. Well, Twitter, we'll talk, but that's not a thing. Or Instagram. You should be doing it before matches, after matches, every time you meet someone. But let's say you're going for, and I'm going to keep using this example. You're going for a personal record on your deadlift, or you and your buddy are going for it. Why don't you finish the video right before the mount? Right, I mean, you're at the top of the deadlift. You're almost there. Is he going to fail? You're not sure. In the video there, and put a "to be continued" on your buddy's page. Well, you know what? Both audiences now, your followers and his followers, they have to go watch both videos, follow both people to get the whole video. This is a big thing happening in YouTube right now, where people will create part 1 of a video and say, go follow my buddy who only has 1 million followers to see part 2. And all of a sudden he's told his whole 10 million followers to go follow someone. And all of a sudden they both have 11. And that's a piece that you can do right now, especially when you guys are together. So again, when I say ask right there, that's a great way to ask. And it's a great thing that you can do to take advantage of having everyone together, ready to go, in the vibe, in the moment. That's where I view the workout. I mean, when you're working out more than you are at actual events, but that's a great time for your character to come to life with other characters. Play with them, take advantage of them. And you have a whole film studio. You both have TV channels. You all have TV channels to take advantage of. And incidentally, I mean, you know what? I like Captain America. I like Iron Man, but the Avengers is my favorite. Go make Avengers movies. I mean, it's the same thing that we're talking about here. And that's what, we have all that. So taking this to kind of the tail end, why is this important? Why is all the social media important? This is going to go back to our math equation. It's because of that one person who knows two people. It's that we want to get everyone to invite two people. But I want to stress, that's a wheel. That's always going to keep happening. And everyone knows two people. It just keeps growing and growing. Likewise, people like tribes. And I mentioned tribes earlier, but tribes are the things that we love. I'll give you a phenomenal example to this. Has anyone ever heard of the Tournament of Kings or something like it? This is a show in Las Vegas at the big castle Excalibur, but they have them all over the country where you go see knights joust. And it's a big dinner show. They give you the big turkey leg and soup that you drink from the thing. But the big important thing that they do is they tell you when you're seated which knight you're rooting for. You sit in the green section, you're rooting for the Green Knight. And damn it, an hour ago, you never even heard of the Green Knight, but you're sitting there with your turkey leg in your hand, and the Green Knight comes up against the Black Knight, and you're like, fuck yeah, kick his ass. You're into that. We like tribes, even when we don't even know why we like the tribe. As soon as we're indoctrinated into a tribe, we follow someone's social media, we're a fan of them, we cheered for them at an event. We are stoked to be part of something. And that's the thing that we're doing here. We're really talking about building diehard fans. And don't get me wrong, Home Dude here is the extreme of what we're talking about. But if you can get him, I guarantee he's bringing two of his friends to an event. And that's the thinking, right? Even if you don't get him every time, even if you shoot for the moon every time and you miss, you're still among the stars. And that's what we're talking about. The other reason it's important is your character does not only exist in the ring. And again, I talked about this a second ago when working out. But your character exists in all times in their mind. At least that's the goal. And your job, literally your job with what you are doing in this profession does not end after the show. Picture this, you got a wrestling event July 1st and you got a wrestling event August 1st. You need to be marketing to those people, to your audience in between them. Because, and this is where we're going to go back, if you do not, this is what's going to happen. Squirrel comes back. And I guarantee if that squirrel gets there, the people who come to August 1 are it's not going to be as many people. They're going to forget. They may even want to come. They're just going to forget. We all know about the squirrels. So that is marketing. And really it's marketing in 2021, especially on the cheap, because it's all social media that we're talking about. We're talking about staying in touch with people, staying relevant in people's minds. But to round this whole thing out, because Joe and I talked about a couple of things that we wanted to hit on today, that's marketing. And marketing is how you get customers in my mind. That's a super simple way. But in this case, this is how you're going to get fans, how you're going to get an audience, how you're going to get merchandise sales, how you're going to get ticket sales. But with the other thing we need to talk about super, super quick, I promise we're close to the end, is sales. And sales is what I do for me. It's what I do, what I believe all of you guys should be doing. And that's how you get business. This is how you're going to get more events, literally more opportunities. And to do that, I'm going to tell you, a super abbreviated part of a presentation I'm working on actually right now called I Suck at Sales. So I got bad news for you. I'm going to tell you guys all about sales and I suck at sales. So take this with a grain of salt, but I'm going to do my best at it because I genuinely suck at sales. Here's me 2 years ago, little purple dude. When I went and started my business, I do business to business consulting. Again, I do marketing. I knew I had to go do sales. And so just like I've read in every book and heard, I went and talked to every single person that I knew. And months went by and I didn't get any sales. And so again, I suck at sales here. I stayed in touch with these people. It's not like I just met these people once or I go to networking events and never talk to them again. I'd email them. We'd probably talk once a month or once every other month. We'd talk on Facebook. We talk on LinkedIn. I take people to coffee. And one day, the most embarrassing thing happened to me. Dude up here on the left felt so bad for me that he said, "Hey, Matt, I know a dude who needs some marketing help. Can I put him in touch with you?" And this was so embarrassing for me. Here's a guy who I want to do business with, and he felt so bad for me, he put me in touch with someone. But I met with the guy, I talked to him. It didn't work out. We ended up not having, couldn't do what he I couldn't do what he was looking for. But okay, I'm feeling horrible at this point. And then something else terrible happens, is that another person who I want to do business with calls me out of the blue and says, "Hey, Matt, I know this guy who I think you might be able to help. And put me in touch with someone else." And I met with this person and I actually was able to help them. We did some work. They paid me. They were thrilled with the work. And actually this person, again, it's super embarrassing, felt so bad for me that they called a friend and put me in touch with that person. And all these people felt so bad for me that they were just trying to hand me work. And this went on for about 2 years into my business. until I finally realized that's sales. That entire process right there is sales. And it has nothing to do with me sucking at sales or anyone felt bad for me. In fact, it's quite the opposite. It's that people like helping people. And every one of those where people were saying, oh, I like, Matt, let me help you out. They were also thinking they were helping their friend. And that right there is kind of the essence of what we're talking about here, is that everyone we already talked about this, everyone already knows 10 people wants to connect you with someone. You may not happen right now. It may take a year from now. And that's cool. If you know that 1 in every 10 people you meet is going to connect you with someone in a year, you just need to go meet more people. That's math. That's simple math at this point. So in your industry, I mean, who should you be connecting with? And again, Joe and I talked about this. This isn't the extensive list, but here's some ideas. First off, mentors. People who've been doing this for a long time. Go hang out with them. Be awesome with them. I mean, don't just tag along, but be a cool person. Promoters. If there's an event going on near you that you can get to that you're not competing or performing at, you need to be there, talking to people, connecting with people, asking if you can help, asking if you can get there a day early and take someone out to breakfast or lunch. And media. I mean, God, there's podcasts on your industry. There's YouTube videos about everyone talking about how much people suck and don't suck. And go talk to them. Go stay in touch with every one of these people. Because exactly like I said, that's sales, that's networking. That's literally how you build a brand on the business side of it. And just like I said, everyone you talk to, they know 10 people. And what do you do? Because again, I said this, I mean, go talk to people, go stay in touch with them. But after that, after you've connected, after you've been awesome, never stop being awesome. That's a big deal to me, because we all know the difference between awesome and annoying, but focus on that. Always be awesome to people. But when you're talking to these people, make sure you tell them, hey, can I shoot you a text from time to time? Make sure you follow me on social media. Everything that we've already talked about, make sure they're in the loop too, because exactly the same. And this is the trick that I found with sales. Squirrels are everywhere, man. People are gonna get distracted. They're gonna, even if you had a great conversation, they're gonna forget you. So don't let them forget you. Always stay in touch. And again, that goes all the way back to just tell them to subscribe to social media and get your emails and text messages. It's all a loop and it all helps you. Okay, so that was a tough workout. Let's cool down, go over kind of what we talked about. First and foremost, what did we talk about? Get on social media and promote yourself. And do not stress over, again, I always use the word douchey because it feels douchey, except it's not. It's genuinely how the game is played. I mean, I think I mentioned this to someone the other day. In fact, Joe, you're probably going to laugh. I think it was you. But if I was to start wearing the same clothes as the Kardashians and driving the same cars and going to these same places and taking the same pictures with the same hashtags, no one can really tell me I'm not as famous as a Kardashian. And it's the same thing we're talking about here. And that's the extreme model of what we're talking about, but it's all social media. It all tears down. And granted, someone could surely say, dude, you're not a Kardashian, but they have to say it on social media. And now we've had the conversation, which is exactly where I want all conversations to happen. Even if someone tells me I suck, I mean, someone's paying attention. Don't stress yourself if your content sucks. That's item 2. And I want to go for that. Go make a video right now. And cool. The video after that is going to be better. Guarantee it. Even if you do another one in 20 minutes, because you're probably going to do like 5 in the middle there and you're going to delete 6 of them, and that's okay. And that's how it gets better. Don't worry. Don't think you're not good at making content. You're doing the same thing that a lot of people who are great at making content did 2 years ago. And a lot of things that people 2 years ago did and said, I suck, and stopped doing. Just keep going. And the last thing that we talked about is talk to everyone. Never stop talking to everyone. Connect, network, be awesome, be helpful. And don't let them forget about you. That's that social media, that text message. Genuinely, and I use tools for this. I'll give you a phenomenal example. I've done this. I've had a conversation with someone and we've connected and we talked about how we like the same baseball team and we both hate onions. And then a month later, I'll call them up out of the blue just to say, hey, because they forgot all about me, but I call them out of the blue and I make sure to mention the baseball team and the fact that we hate onions. Now that's powerful. That's big. What they don't know is that I set up a Google reminder to say, hey, in 1 month, call Joe. Be sure to mention baseball and onions. That's a tool. That's a simple tool on Google or your phone. You say, hey, Siri, remind me in 1 month. Don't actually do this. Okay, she's not doing it. But remind me in 1 month to call Joe and mention baseball and onions. We have that power. All those tools are right there. So make it as easy for yourself as possible, but you got to do this because I stress it's just part of owning a business, and all of you own the business of your brand and your character. You are your character, and this is what your character needs to do to get to the next level. So that's really going to end the whole thing. If you want to take a snapshot of this, I genuinely love to help people. I love talking about marketing. And frankly, I love smoking cigarettes. And anytime someone calls me, I go outside to smoke a cigarette. So if you want to get in touch with me and ask me a marketing question, by all means, take a picture of my contact information, get in touch with me, reach out anytime. Incidentally, I totally mentioned it. I did write a book. I say that because and I'm not trying to, it came out like 9 days ago. So I'm freaking stoked. It's my first book. But I say it because I work in business marketing. I talk to businesses and they need to think of me as the expert. And in my world, this is content. And that's all I'm trying to do is brand myself as this cool, knowledgeable thing in this world I'm trying to work in. And that's the same thing you guys are doing. Now, I will tell you, because I will never, ever miss an opportunity. If you would like to purchase the book or just want to take a look at it, it's also totally free on Kindle. You can scan this QR code, which literally requires you to open your camera and point it at the screen right now, or you can search on Amazon. But actually, I'll tell you, the reason I really have this up here is because I'm a geek for QR codes. And I mentioned them at the very beginning. I wanted to tell you guys one final thing about QR codes. I use a website here called QR Code Monkey, totally free. You can Google QR Code Monkey. But for those who don't know what a QR code is, you open your phone's camera and scan it, and it'll take you somewhere on the internet. So when I said earlier, make sure at the end of everything that you do, people can find you on social media, know to follow you on social media. Print up a big damn banner and put this on it. It's easy. You can put your Instagram, your Facebook, your whatever you want someone to subscribe to. Just do one. Don't go overboard. But telling someone that, hey, just open your camera and scan this is way easier than telling someone, be sure to find me on TikTok. Look up at joevernola.26. I mean, you guys know which of these is simpler. You guys know which one people are going to gravitate toward. And again, I'll use the word, even if they don't, it's low-hanging fruit. Even if 1 out of 10 people does it, you made it easier for one person. I freaking love QR codes. They're awesome. So with that, I have rambled for an hour about marketing. I told you I'm a big marketing geek and I could talk about this for a while. Do you guys have any questions?
How much do you recommend people associate their real life with their brand?
I leave that up to you. And I say that with a question. If you did 100% of your time devoted, if you were just 100% Stephen Colbert, always in character, you're going to be more successful. You're also not going to have a life. That's also probably not you. It's not really healthy. And you have no privacy would be the big thing. I mean, if everything you do, you post on Facebook and your character, everything they do is wild, that means your whole life has to be wild. So take that with a grain of salt. What are you comfortable with? What I would tell you is pay attention to frequency and what's working. This is usually the best. I mean, if you post once a day and no one seems overwhelmed by that, up it to twice a day. If you notice that people aren't engaging as much, go back down and switch that up. And that'll at least get you to kind of a metric style number of, am I posting too much or too little? But to answer your real question of, you know, how much of your life, I mean, really should become your character. Well, you said on social media, but really that's the same question. Put some thought into that. I'll tell you, full honesty, being Matt from S2 Research 24/7 would be too exhausting. I mean, for context, kind of put it, I shut down. I'll go quiet for 12 hours minimum on social media because you got to do what's good for you. Incidentally, there's a analogy that I just love to share anytime I can. Everyone here, I'm sure, is familiar with the analogy of the juggler. You know, even the world's best juggler can only juggle so many balls at once. And we all know, capacity, we can only do so much at once. The thing that people forget about that analogy is that when the best juggler in the world exceeds his limit, doesn't matter how many, he's gone one ball too many. It's not the new ball that falls. It's all the balls. So, oh, I like the horn. Sweet. But I mean, you get what I mean. So again, 100, if you put your whole life on social media and you're constantly promoting your brand, you're going to be more successful. You're also going to get burnt out. It's going to suck. You're going to see it in your video quality. You're going to see it in your life. Take it with a grain of salt. What you guys are talking about here is genuinely business development. No one's working 24/7 business development and not having a brain. And I mean, you know what I mean? Like you gotta, yeah. I over answered your question, but hopefully that answers your question.
It did. Thank you.
I have two questions for you, Matt.
Yep.
Do you have your customers use a content scheduler?
It's a great question. So for those who don't know, there's tools that I use, some of them called like Hootsuite is one of them. There's others. Facebook, you can do what I'm about to tell you native, meaning you can do it in Facebook, same with Instagram. But you could spend an hour on Mondays writing all your social content, doing all your videos, and schedule them in those tools. Hootsuite would let you schedule them, Facebook would. I'll say it depends. People know authentic. And let's say you're posting something from a week ago today and saying it's today, and someone knows, well, he's wearing the same shirt and it's got the same sweat stain. Like people can kind of tell. If you know you have an event on Saturday, scheduling a post for Thursday night and Saturday morning, that makes complete sense. Do that. It works for you. Where I really tell people kind of the nice balance, schedule what you can, meaning what seems like it would make sense that if people said, oh, you schedule this, schedule that. And make that, call it like 30 to 40% of your content. Then you only have to worry about like 2 or 3 videos a week and do those on the fly. And then don't even stress too much about those, because maybe one of them is just, you told your husband a hilarious joke about wrestling and you want to tell it real quick on TikTok. And that kind of thinking. I mean, just, hey, world, just did something hilarious, want to tell you. I mean, that really is part of the commitment to the video. But if you only have to do that every 3 days instead of every day, because you scheduled your Friday post to remind everyone about that's totally fine.
Okay.
One story I will tell you, actually I'll tell you, well, okay, so 2014, Joan Rivers tweets out that she loves her brand new iPhone. It's the best iPhone. She'd had her previous iPhone for like 8 years, so it didn't work right. She loves her iPhone. The problem with that is that Joan Rivers had died 2 weeks before. And clearly this was automated. Kind of think about that. And those things happen. A ton of brands in 2012 congratulated people around 11:30 for finishing the Boston Marathon, which is when people would have been finishing if a bomb hadn't gone off. And again, you just kind of think context will kind of be on your side, but sometimes is it even worth rolling the dice for something that you could just reminded yourself, hey, at 11:30 on Sunday, post this on Facebook. You kind of get where I'm going. I mean, pluses and minuses, but you're literally holding a baby right there. If you could schedule something and save yourself time, do that. So hopefully, again, I know I over-answered the question, but hopefully that kind of answers it.
No, that's actually like really great, because it does feel like I've done marketing before where we've scheduled out posts and we've planned like the whole Instagram aesthetic, and it feels just sometimes it feels gross and sometimes it just doesn't feel authentic, and it's like it fits the brand, but it doesn't feel right,
Yeah, I completely get that.
Right.
No. Again, I do business marketing. I mean, like that's who I work with, and but I'll post like this big thought leadership-y piece on market research and why everyone needs to be doing. And I'll post it on LinkedIn, and everyone that I want to work with doesn't care, and that happens sometimes. But I happen to be friends with a lot of those people on Facebook too, where I post a crap load of dad jokes, and that's me. I like dad jokes. And those same people will laugh and engage. And I've received texts from them that say, great joke. And okay, maybe I'm doing it wrong on LinkedIn. Because clearly being me and authentic and what works for me, because I honestly, when I post something on LinkedIn like that, I feel kind of like, okay, who am I to have, do I even have the right to be posting this thought leadership market research thing? But I'm a dad who tells some pretty funny jokes. I have every right to tell dad jokes on Facebook. And somehow my audience likes that. And that goes kind of back to the experiment thing. You have no clue what's going to work. So experiment and figure it out. And it's going to be completely different than what you think. And the days that you think that you're doing it wrong are the days it's going to be right. And you'll kind of fall into a rhythm. And the only way to get there is to kind of fall into it.
I hate your dad jokes, and I look at them in shame
Every-
day.
Every time I post a terrible dad joke, which I need to, I mean, we're not talking like 1 or 2 a week. This is like 3 a day. Joe posts a picture of Justin Timberlake shaking his head, which, I mean, at this point I get off on, so I have to get that Justin Timberlake post. So I have to post more dad jokes, and it's a vicious cycle. So I hope that never goes away. But I'll tell you, Joe, you have interacted with my clients because you're my friend, and it's on my Facebook page, and my clients are on there. And I'll tell you, that's the people who really like doing business with me. And again, I know we're talking business and it's not one-to-one to you guys, but I mean, does your best friend ever come to your shows, especially if you text them to say, hey, come, or you post on Facebook how excited you are? I mean, I would assume, that happens every once in a while for you guys. And what's to stop someone who just saw you at an event and added you on Instagram, and you guys talk every once in a while, and maybe you talk about a third hobby that you both share, and you say on a Friday, hey, I've got a big event tomorrow that I can't wait for you to come to. We've blurred the lines of what a friend versus a fan is, and that's for our opportunity. I guess I could close this and actually, and that's kind of our opportunity now. So it's all reframing, but I'll be the first to tell you, sometimes it feels kind of douchey, and that's part of the game. And also part of the game is figuring out how to make it not douchey. There's got to be a better word that I can use for that, but I'll keep working on that.
Cool. The other question I had for you, and I thought that it was actually like a really cool idea, because a lot of traditional businesses do the data capture on their customers. Like, here's my free downloadable thing that solves this little problem in your life. It solves a pain point in your life. Download this thing, and then you've captured their email.
Yeah.
Can't quite do that in wrestling, but I think that it's a great way to communicate with fans. I just wouldn't know exactly how we would do that.
Well, so I always kind of say, I just don't think we've thought of the right way to do it. I mean, you're right. I have people download a statistics PDF, and it works for my business. That's not going to work for you guys. I'm trying to think. I mean, are there better videos that we could put behind a wall access, or do you have a media kit? Or for those who don't know what a media kit is, but again, think about this. Picture a 2-page PDF that has a link to a highlight reel and why you're awesome, and how to get in touch with you so they can book you for an event on the last minute. And you can put that behind a wall, and a gate, or the term is, but all we're asking for is, hey, fill out name and email, but now I get to send you emails forever. But I have to think about that. I mean, I could think easily of how you could get someone who's getting into wrestling into that. I mean, you could have a workout guide, or you could have a character guide, or, I mean, there's a bunch of ways there. What do fans want? In fact, I'll give you a great one. I mean, and I don't know how you can make this work on the promoter side. But can you get a 20% discount code that someone just has to enter their email once to get, and they can use it forever? And that right there. So you kind of get what we're talking about is, we mentioned the text message and the email earlier, and really our goal there is just, you want someone to opt in to stay in touch with you. Most of the time you need to dangle a carrot in front of them to get that. What's a carrot? I mean, again, if you're selling t-shirts at an event, could you just say, sign up for my text messages right now and give me I'll give you, $5 off. And you have a little sign that says that with the QR code to sign up for the text messages, and low-hanging fruit. And again, I'll stress, if you have 10 people see it, 1 or 2 is going to do it. And those numbers suck, but cool. Now just go find 200 people. And that might take you months, but you get where I'm going. It's a math thing. But those people are in your texts. You can talk to them now. All right, who's got a hard one?
Anyone?
Should we be discouraged if we don't see engagement right away?
No, and in fact, I'll tell you, you're not going to see engagement right away. I'll almost argue again. That's kind of the point. It's more important to be there and tell people to get there than it is to have the engagement, especially to start. You don't want someone to come to your page because you did all that work to get them there and not see any videos or not see any posts. you want them to look like they're walking into the middle of a party. No one ever wants to be the first guest at a party. So you need to make it look as active as possible. Now, granted, I get the challenge there is maybe people don't want to be the first one to comment or like because no one else has. Where you can gimmick that, I'll give you a good example. Actually, I'll give you a great thought, in fact. LinkedIn, and again, I use LinkedIn as an example, but this comes up. LinkedIn will show your post to about 10% of your audience in the first 10 minutes. If you don't get engagement in those 10 minutes, they won't show it to more people. That's kind of like they test it. To counter that, I have a group where anytime we post on LinkedIn, we share the link to that post, and all 20 of us will like it. And we've gamed the system. We've told it to have interaction. So if only you guys had a nice network of people who all wanted to promote each other's social media, who could all help each other in that sense. I mean, you guys kind of get where I'm going with that. Like,
We used to call them pods.
pods, that's the word. Yeah.
In the networking groups that I've been a part of, we would call them networking pods. And you would post like, hey, I just made this post about this. And then we would all go like comment and like create that engagement to boost the post for other people.
I'll tell you where social media has gotten a little savvier on that is if all of you guys did it for every post, they're going to catch it. But if like 4 of you did it for every other post, you know what I mean? And then switch, now you've got a solution. And now, honestly, you've got a network that you could add other people to. So every time you meet another person in this industry who could benefit from that, bring them in. And now you've got one more person liking all 20 posts and 20 people liking their posts. And you can almost, and I mean, I use the word kind of funny, create a syndicate. But that's the point is if you all want to get there, you all get there. And then again, bring people into the folds and invite people and tell people to join the conversation at every event. And again, when you've got someone there, they're going to remember the experience. So create that experience where they get as involved as possible. And then the time between events, it's your job then to take advantage of everything that you did to get someone to sign up at an event. Sign up for social media, sign up for text, sign up for whatever we're talking about.
My problem I have a lot is when I'm trying to put a promo or something, I try writing it down and I have a stutter and I wind up overthinking it and then it doesn't get done.
I get that. I totally get that. If I could recommend a book, it's one of my favorite books ever. Eat That Frog. You can read it in a day. I mean, it's a real short book. There's a lot to it. The Eat That Frog concept, and I'll just tell you, it's very basic. It's if ever comes a day in your life where you have to eat a frog, make it the very first thing you do that day, because it's all downhill from there. And then the second pillar of this, there's only the two, is if ever comes a day where you have to eat 2 frogs, eat the bigger, uglier frog first. And so kind of with that in mind, and again, there's a whole process to the thinking there, but get it done. And I know that's not an answer because you're overthinking and I'm an overthinker and I get that. Set a time limit. Tell yourself if in 10 minutes I'm going to post this regardless. And we already addressed this, and I mean this with full sincerity. It's going to suck. Who cares? Tomorrow, your 10-minute timer will give you encouragement to make tomorrow's video a little bit better. As for the stutter, own it. I mean, there's no real other way to say it. And God, I love, have you seen have you seen Cobra Kai? There's a great scene in Cobra Kai where there's a guy who has something on his lip and he decides to get a giant mohawk. And they basically said, look, just embrace what it is and change the script. And I'm not saying you have to go that aggressive with it or anything, but what I'll tell you is, cool, you have a stutter and you got 10 minutes to make this video. You've set that time limit for you. What's the coolest video you can do in that? And no one's going to care about anything. They really don't, which is the most vulnerable thing to hear because I assume everything I do, everyone's judging me for. So again, I hear the hypocrisy in what I'm saying. I still know it to be true that it's the way to do it. But I'll tell you, and I mean this with wholehearted sincerity, it's going to be better than you think too. When I say sucks, by the way, I've said that over and over. It's also going to be way better than you think. And I'm saying that from someone else's eyes. You're still going to think it sucks, but everyone's going to be like, no, dude, it was cool. It was cool.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, yeah. Sounds like that's probably it on the questions, and we've gone for an
Yeah,
hour. But
I was just gonna say, ask if anyone else had anything, and if not, I was gonna thank you for your time and everything.
dude, it is
Um,
my pleasure. Again, I can talk about this all day. Plus, dude, 25 years we've known each other. Seriously, this was my honor.
Yeah, crazy. But yeah, thank you for helping the guys out. Guys, if you didn't get a chance to screen cap the contact slide, I've got all his contact info. And I know he was recording the Zoom, so I'm sure he'll get that out to me and I can get it out to you guys.
Yep.
Thank
But
you
yeah,
very much.
he's a pretty social dude too. So if you guys want to find him on Facebook or something,
Seriously, Matt Seltzer. And but you guys aren't. I'm not even joking about the dad jokes. Like, it's a lot.
terrible.
But no, seriously, I love it. So if anyone wants to add me, it would be an honor. Seriously. And for all of you, I really appreciate your time, because I hope this helps. It's something I love talking about, but I truly believe every word of it, and I really hope it helps you guys.
Yeah, and you definitely reinforced some points, but you brought up a lot of new stuff.
Cool. Very, very cool. And just like Joe said, I mean, if you didn't get the screen, or if you did get the screen and you do have a question, ask me a question. Happy to help.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Matt.
for
All
everything.
right. Thank you, guys. Joe,
Thank you
this is
for
going to
your
take
time.
like an
Thank you.
hour to compile. So I'm going to send you the video in the morning. I hope that's okay.
Yeah, no, that's totally fine. Take your time.
Cool. You guys all have an awesome night and take care.
Thank you. You as well, Matt.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.